We're just one win away from the 50-point target we set ourselves at the start of the season, and it's only January. Hello and welcome to part 36 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev. Coming up on today's episode, we have two home games, one against top of the table Tranmere and t'other against Wrexham, who aren't top of the league. I don't know where they are. Where are Wrexham? Below us. That's the important thing. Since you were last with us, we've rediscovered green, or continued to discover green, although we did get ourselves knocked out of the FA Trophy by FC United, but who cares? It's only the FA Trophy. In the league, we've not lost since Woking back at the start of December. So it's a 6 game unbeaten run in the league. Livesy Mason, as you can see, he's been doing all right, hasn't he? Scored in all those games, and he's currently sat there. 15 goals from 19 games, 15 goals from 16 starts in the league. So obviously, my answer to that was to go out and sign 2 more strikers. So we've signed 4 players, in fact. So we'll start with the strikers. Omar Bugiel, 27-year-old Lebanese international, 3.5-star current ability. And he's been playing in the National League for the last couple of years, scored a decent number of goals for Gloucester. And he apparently is better than Mason, almost as good as Cedwyn Scott. And then we also signed Danny Philliskirk purely because he was fairly cheap. 30 years old now, can play anywhere across the attacking line. Another one on 3.5-star current ability. Offers us something a little bit different because he's a deep lying forward or defensive forward. We don't really have that kind of striker at the moment, and he's been playing in the Football League for the last 10 years or so. He'll be back there. He won't be back there next year because we're not going to get promoted. Let's not get silly. But he was relatively cheap. I think we're paying him less than £500 a week. Yeah, so it seemed like a bit of a no-brainer. This one was a really bad signing, and I regret it massively. Elijah Adebayo, 24-year-old centre-back. He came through our scout reports with an amazing scout report. It was like 4-star current ability, 5-star potential. I don't know if it was an out-of-date scout report. He had an 84 on his scout recommendation rating. So when he came and asked for £2,500 a week, I thought, we really need a really good centre-back. So go on then. He's not as good as Laskowski or Stone, and no better than Asia Konu, who's been playing while Stone's been injured. I should have known, really, to look at the fact that he's not played a game for 2 years, and even then they were in the National League South, but he's only here for another 2 years on that kind of money. He was a mistake. And then we've signed a young goalkeeper, Ted Can, 21 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. In theory, better than the 2 we've got. He's not playing yet, but might break in before the end of the season. Was at West Brom. I'm not really happy with Guthrie or Linus at this level. So if Can push on, if Can push on to end up better than him, then that's what we'll do. So this is the team we're putting out there today. We've got Guthrie in goal. You can see we've made a couple more tweaks to it. We are full-on counter-attack structured all the time now, and it seems to be working nicely. We've just got a very defensive back four, which is different to something I've ever done in the past. We don't have any overlapping full-backs, and in front of that, we're even playing with a defensive winger. We literally sit behind the ball, try and get the ball to Hartley, who then gives it to these two and they do magic with it. Cedwyn Scott, he's out of contract at the end of the year and not signing at the moment, which is a bit of a problem. He's wanted by league clubs, 4-star current ability now, with potential to continue to improve for Scott. 13 goals and 10 assists from 28 games on a 7.32. We desperately need him to re-sign. He's been instrumental in the run, but we finally have a strike partnership, which again is why I went and signed 2 strikers. We're playing top of the table Tranmere. Did I mention that? We're going to get absolutely smashed, aren't we? We've not lost in the league for so very long. I'm hoping my scouts were right about Adebayo, and it's just my coach or my assistant manager, whoever judges the star ratings in club, is wrong, because the scouts were so excited about him. He clearly thinks a lot of himself to ask for the money that he's asked for. So I am hoping that it's just my assistant manager's got it wrong. And when we actually get him into the team, he ends up being a superstar. But it's a big if when I give him that debut, because I don't really know who to play against. We seem very zoomed in. Everyone seems very big. Let's zoom out to there. I don't know why we were that far zoomed in. But as you can see, as it stands right now, we are just outside of the playoffs. I don't really care. Oh, that's got to be a red card. Yes, it is a red card. 4 minutes in, and top of the table Tranmere have had a player sent off. Mason was in there, and even with an injury, he's quick, would have got through, would have scored. And that is potentially massive for us. If we can get the win today, we hit our 50-point target. Scott is in, and we're 1-0 up after 12 minutes, and that is... he's offside. I was just saying that's exactly the kind of goals we've been scoring. Get it out wide, get a cross in, and have one of those two do something like that with it. Mason's quick and can take the ball over the top and take the through balls from Scott. And Scott, despite only being 5'10", and my constant campaign from it meaning that he can't be a target man, he's only 5'10". He's actually a very good target man and very good in the air. But I'm never going to acknowledge that someone 5'10" can be a target man. So in my mind, he's 6'2". And he should have probably, if he was 6'2", he'd have won that ball there because it was a decent pass from Mason and he just didn't seem to be awake. But what we have to remember is Tranmere are much, much better than us. And even with them down to 10 men for the entire game, I'll be happy with a draw. A 0-0 will do me in this one. There you go. There's your ball over the top. There's Scott. I don't know whether he should have... He should either be hitting the target or squaring it for Mason there. He shouldn't be blasting it over the bar. If he doesn't think he can at least force a save out the keeper, Mason's alongside him. Square it to the guy who's in ridiculous goal-scoring form. I noticed as well, looking at the club records, that Darren McQueen is an icon of the club now, despite only being here for a year. We tried to bring him back in on trial because he's still not got a club. Wasn't interested. So I was tempted just to bring him back in to knock around the place saying, "Hi, I'm Darren McQueen and I'm an icon." But he wasn't up for it for some reason. I did explain to him he's not going to play any games because we've got these really good strikers that were much better than he was. I've also put Redshaw and Tyrone Marsh on the transfer list in like bringing in the two new strikers. I think the two we've got in the team are spot on. They're good enough. And the two... Oh, what's just happened? Mason should have chased that on. If he'd have just forced the issue there, we could have had a Rascals goal. But as I was saying, the two we've got in the team are good enough. The two we've got in reserve now that we've just brought in theory, are better or as good. So we don't need Marsh and Redshaw anymore. So they're on the transfer list. I don't know if anyone's actually going to give me money for them or whether we'll end up just releasing them. Northampton, in theory, are still in for Tyrone Marsh, but I assume that's just because they haven't seen him play since last season. And if they come scouting him and realise he doesn't even get on our bench anymore and ask why, then we're going to struggle. Unless we just sort of... If we give him the tickets... You can have your tickets to come in and scout him, just on the understanding that you give him a lift back to your place afterwards. He's coming with you. We don't even need money for him. Just take his salary on. Because I may have overspent a little on a defender that has put us over our wage budget. And I got a little bit excited, a little bit ahead of myself, forgot that we have to be with Nuneaton forever. And if we go too far over the wage budget and cause financial problems, that's going to cause Kev problems too. Right, we need to get off counter-attacking. Because it's clearly not working against 10 men. And immediately we win a penalty. Hurrah! Who's taking it? I can't see a number. Show me a number. Who's taking it? Elliott. Well, he won it. Why not take it? Tom Elliott scores. It's 1-1. And we'll drop down to standard as a compromise rather than control. Because I'm still a little bit afraid of Tranmere, but I think we probably shouldn't be trying to counter-attack against 10 men. That's probably why it's not working. In job offer news, by the way, some people were asking on the stream. I mentioned this in Non-League to Legend yesterday as well. I've been offered jobs at Ipswich, QPR. There was another championship club as well, but I'm getting linked with championship jobs, which is mad, really. There you go. Bugiel. He can come on. We haven't got... Should we bring Adebayo on? He might be a striker. Perhaps, is he a target man? He is. Should we bring him on? What's the worst that can happen? Scott's not having a good game. Let's bring our star £2,500 a week defender on to play up front. We're not going to make a third substitution now because we want to maintain our man advantage. So I don't really want to bring 3 subs on with 20 minutes to go and go down to 10 men almost immediately. I like the flexibility of Adebayo though. I'm going to find a way to justify the money we're spending on him. But if we now score, we can drop him back into defence. It's handy, isn't it? Let's bring Anderson on and just because he's more attacking, which is why he's not playing at the moment, because he's a little bit too attacking. Let's just control for the last 5 minutes. Try and snag a cheeky little winner with a defender and a brand new signing up front. So it's probably not going to happen. But you never know. Here you go. Howells. Lazarkovsky. I can't say his name. Elliot's running the wrong way, and it doesn't matter. 1-1 against Tranmere. I'm comfortable with that. They're top of the league. If we go and beat Wrexham as well, we still hit our 50-point target today, and then that is cause for celebration. At that point, we just fast travel to the end of the season. Doesn't matter from there. Just one change for the Wrexham game then, just for a bit of rotation in midfield. Cowans comes in for Elliot, just to keep things fresh and energetic in there. Also, I've swapped who's on the bench. Phyllis Kirk replacing t'other fella, whose name escapes me, and the striker guy is Elliot's on for him. It's all fine. It all makes sense. See, I mean, just tactical insights aplenty today. I'm poorly. I don't feel very well. That's why I'm not speaking like a human today. I think I've got a cold, everybody. And I'm trying to edit out the sniffs and the coughs as much as possible, which I think we're getting away with. But my brain is not functioning the way a normal human brain should. So apologies if what's coming out of my mouth seems a little bit nonsensical. Right, here we go then. Cowans, we're gonna win this game, I've decided. Because, it's all right. It's all fun and everything, drawing against top of the table team, but we want to beat the likes of Wrexham. And Scott puts us 1-0 up. After 9 minutes, it moves us up into a playoff position. Don't tell anyone. Secret. We don't talk about the playoffs. There has been further media rumours about Sedwin Scott between the two games as well. Carlisle, I think it is, who I think are in League Two, and they are being linked with a £15,000 move for him. I said I would agree to sell him for the right price. £15,000 isn't the right price. I know he's out of contract at the end of the season and we can't get him to re-sign, but 15 grand, that's like a month and a half of that new defender's wages. It's not a difference maker for us. If someone wants him now, bearing in mind the Football League clubs, their transfer window ends in 9 days' time. So if they want him now, they're going to give us £250,000 for him. Otherwise, they can just have him for free in the summer. 15 grand is neither here nor there. My only concern is if he decides he wants to go. So if he doesn't want to sign with us, presumably, that means he's got to move to the Football League in mind. And if we deny him that, are we going to upset him and cause dynamics problems and all that stuff? So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, if we come to it. But I'm certainly not accepting a £15,000 offer either way. It's insulting. He's a man who's a star for a promotion chase. I mean, we're in the playoffs now. So he's starring for a promotion-chasing conference club. You're not getting that for less than £250,000 in the real world. It's just not how transfers work at this level anymore. I should know. I'm a posh fan. All we do is spend £250,000 on conference strikers. And they don't have to perform as well as Sedwin Scott before we do it either. So, yeah, £250,000, please. Peterborough, where are you? I expect one of your £250,000 checks. And it's 2-0, by the way. I did notice there was a goal. Has that gone down for Hornsby? Because it's a bit fortuitous if he's been credited with that goal. He hasn't been. It's gone as an own goal, I think, which that seems fairer on reflection. So, although we don't want to be thinking in terms of promotion, assuming we now win this game, which we should do, that puts us on our pre-season, or above our pre-season target, 50 points. This will put us to 51 with 16 games to go. And we'll be in a promotion, a playoff position. 10 points off the top of the league. Do we need to actually start thinking in terms of a playoff push this season? Because part of me thinks, that'll be fun. Let's have a playoff push. And then the other part of me thinks, imagine if we did fluke our way through it and got ourselves promoted. We are not close to ready for League Two yet. We need another 2 seasons in this division, building a team that's capable of surviving, or else we're going to go up, come back down. It will do more harm than good. Or am I too afraid? I'm so out of practice at taking a team through the leagues. I've only ever done it at one time with Bolton. And even then, did we make it further than League One? I certainly didn't make it back to the Premier League because FM18 stopped and we moved on. So, I know it wasn't. My computer broke, didn't it? And there was definitely a reason why it stopped. Scott is in, and that is an absolutely stunning finish from Cedrin Scott. I will remind you, last season, in a division lower, I moaned about that guy constantly. He wasn't good enough. And we kept hold of him because our assistant manager told me he was the best striker at the club by a mile. I backed my assistant manager, and wowzers, as he flourished playing in the Conference National. And that was just a stunning finish. He's actually getting to the point now where not only is he the best player on the pitch every single match, not only is he getting loads of assists, but he's also starting to weigh in with his share of goals now as well. He's turning into the complete forward. Certainly for this level, he can't play as a complete forward. But he's turning into everything you would want from a striker at this level. I mean, remember, we've got to add 2 more goals onto this tally. So that's 15 goals from 30 games now. A goal every other game, plus 10 assists on a really high average rating. That'll do. If you had 3 of them in your squad, you're laughing. Right, 2 fairly straightforward changes. The 2 weaker players. Oh, actually, no, Hornsby's playing well. No. It was the 2 central midfielders who needed to come off. I'm not taking them both off. I know Hornsby can play in central midfield, but I don't really want him to. So Elliot can come on in midfield. We'll bring on Danny Philliskirk because I want to have a look at him. And this is where we have the slight difficulty that he's a different... I guess deep line forward on attack. Although actually, Scott's supposed to be able to... That's supposed to be his better position, so I'll try him that way around. I've never really... And this is where it seems silly that I've signed him. I've never really got deep line forwards working. But I always like the idea of him. So let's see how he gets on. He might be the worst signing I've ever made. In fact, he's not, because he's less than £500 a week. He's a bargain. With Football League experience, at that price, it is a bargain. We are going to put Hornsby in central midfield now. And just put Hartley on the wing. That defender who's now not even on the bench, whose name escapes me, he's the worst signing I've ever made. But Philliskirk, I don't really know how I'm going to use him. It's nice to have an option for a wide player if we need one. But we have got a decent number of wingers now. Right, there you go. Philliskirk in behind. Can he square it to Scott for his hat-trick? He can. And Scott can. And it's 4-0 to Nuneaton. And Cedrin Scott has his hat-trick. It's been a good episode for that young man. I just hope that Carlisle and crew and whoever else it is who's scouting him didn't come today. It's, we came to the Tranmere game. We don't need to come to 2 matches because otherwise we're going to struggle to keep hold of him. I will again attempt a new contract offer and we'll see. Oh, what's happening? Philliskirk is in really slowly. I mean, that was weird. But Scott has his 4th. It's 5-0. 4 of them for Cedrin Scott. Oh, we're not going to keep him, are we? We're going to get a transfer offer straight after this game. Philliskirk, that was just weird. I don't know why he didn't chase onto that at full speed. I know he's 30 now, but you'd think his full speed would be a little bit faster than that. But Scott, we have a new hero. If we can keep hold of him, we have a proper hero who can stay with us for a little while. But we just need to give him a new contract. We've got to ultimately, I think it might come down to, if we're going to keep Cedrin Scott, we've got to get promoted this season. It's the same conversation we had with Linus last year. So there's your new target. There's the pressure. If we want to keep this new star, we need to use him to fire us to a really unlikely promotion. Right, Philliskirk again. Can he play it over the top to Scott again? He doesn't. It's back to Howells. We've still got a minute. Can Scott get number 5? He is in behind again. I actually thought he was going to score his 5th goal then. I clip that. My mouth was just open because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And now he's taking the corners because why not? He just does everything. He is the complete forward. Philliskirk is fouled. No, he's not. I so would have put Scott on that penalty. I don't know. I can't remember having a player score 5 goals in a league game ever. It's probably happened loads of times, even on this channel. But for some reason, I don't remember them. Wow, that was a performance. Now we face Boston, and I think we can officially start referring to them as a playoff rival. Because League 2, here we come. If you've enjoyed that, I can't speak, I'm so poorly. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for more daily Football Manager videos, sometimes when my head is working. And thank you very much for watching.